Ravin, tell us a little bit about your business, what you do. I think you supply to big companies like Newell Brands and Spectrum, and how much business you do in China.
GMM is one of the largest suppliers of these nonstick coatings to this $9 billion industry. I'm very proud that we supply those companies you mentioned and many others. About 40 million people every day use our products. About 20% of my business is local sales in China, and 80% is U.S.
And what's happened to that China business?
So I started GMM in 2007, and we grew every single year through 2017. So 10 years of untrammeled growth. And in 2018, we were down 30%. I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was like a cliff. So when I heard that news about Apple, I really wasn't surprised. And I'm talking about something as narrow as nonstick coatings for cookware, bakeware, and small appliances. So if you extrapolate my experience over this $15 trillion economy in China, you can just imagine, what kind of dark clouds we might have on the horizon.
Yeah, John, it's a really good read into what's happening on the ground. This gentleman's company and obviously Apple. And then we played the sound from Kevin Hassett at the White House, who, by the way, went on to say it's not just Apple. You can expect any big company that has a sizable chunk of business in China that their profits are going to be cut as well.
Scott, I'm much more interested in what Ravin has to say than what an economist has to say. I think he's exactly right. Old guys are on boards of directors. I'm on 7 of them, right? One of them is a manufacturing company not too far away from Ravin's industry, and we've seen the same thing happen there. I'm also on the board of a data services company where we actually seen the same thing happen on the tech side too. So this is a huge story. It's not just an Apple story. It's not just a China slowdown story. It's what happens when two governments and societies get in each other's face and start messing with each other. A few weeks ago, I said on the show, the damage to the U.S. won't be done with exports and tariffs. It'll be done by the Chinese government messing with U.S. companies. There are 1,000 ways to do that, and it's happening.
Ravin, do you feel that some of that lost business was just a weak consumer in China? Did you feel any pressure from the Chinese government, have to face local competition? Give us a little more color and flavor on why you think those sales dropped 30%.
Yeah, I wish I could report that there was like a mustache twirling villain that was, screwing us up from the Chinese government, but that has not been the case. I think it's absolutely the fact that the Chinese consumer is beleaguered, and my product happens to be a little bit more expensive than local options. So I think that those Chinese consumers are happy to switch to a cheaper product. And I'll also mention something that maybe people don't know. I might have about 4 companies in the Western world that compete with me that are major players. I probably have 80 companies in China that are direct competitors. It is unbelievably competitive in China, and people don't realize this. So when you talk about switching costs, a lot of Chinese consumers, there's over 1 billion people there. It's really, really hard when the president throws this fragmentation grenade into the supply chain and hurts that as well as the tariff grenade on the U.S. side and the demand side. I think that it's really, really hard.
John, how far from the end game are we? Would you guess?
Well, I don't see an end game, Scott. What we've got here is not just a slowdown in China, which is happening, but it's a rich guy slowdown. To a first approximation, anyone who can afford an iPhone in China owns stock in their stock market. Stock market's been trashed. This is a rich guy billionaire bust that we're seeing right now. It's going to ripple across all of the luxury goods and all of the tech companies. And that's aside from the long-term game going on, where there's a battle over who's going to build the new telecom network in the world. ZTE, Huawei on one side, U.S. on the other side. China's winning that war by spending money in emerging markets. So this isn't going to go away. I think we're going to be talking about this for a long, long time.
Guys, thank you. Yeah, Ravin, please, last comment.
I just want to make the comment that we're used to getting about 6-month visibility from our large American clients, and some of our big clients are saying they're down to 30 to 60-day visibility. So if you think about trying to manage a company when demand is so volatile, it's really, really hard. And I've been talking about these tariffs and the trade war for a long time since the president was elected, and I think what we're seeing now are unintended consequences. I think that they bit off a little bit more that they can chew. And it just comes down to 4 words. Trade wars are dumb. It's just a dumb thing to do. And I think that hopefully the president stops making this relative argument saying that, hey, look, the U.S. is just down, but it's down less than China, so we're winning. I think he needs to start making an absolute argument, which is the U.S. is down, and it is an unforced error. And I don't think this president likes to make such egregious unforced errors. So I would just recommend make that deal with President Xi and get all of us U.S. companies back on track, because right now they're hurting us for no good reason.